everyone, Axiom666 here, that hillbilly in Japan. Come on in, kick your feet up, throw back some of my Kool-Aid. Got another one of my Back for Blood deck videos for you. But first and foremost, I am a Twitch streamer. I stream 4 days a week. Link is on the screen, about right there. Make sure you swing by sometime, check out the stream, check out the gameplay, get any tips, anything like that. But now that's out of the way. Said I got a deck video for today. Something nice and simple, nothing crazy, nothing out of the box. Actually doing a economy shotgun deck. I know economy is not typically my thing, but it was time to actually throw some economy in a deck. So you and to have it be DPS, so you guys can have an easier time going through a no hope mission with actually having some kind of economy. Like I said, simple deck, nothing crazy. So let's get over, check it out. Alright everyone, on the screen is the Coppershot deck, as I like to call it, or my economy shotgun deck. As you can see, pretty simple deck, it's pretty straightforward, nothing crazy. For those that don't want to stick around, go ahead and grab the deck, copy, paste it in your game, give it a whirl. All I ask, as usual, swing back by the stream, let me know what you think about it. Put a comment in the YouTube video, my stream, my Discord, what have you, as many avenues you can throw a comment out there. For those sticking around, let's go ahead and break down the deck. Alright, first and foremost, we're going to throw all 3 cards on the screen. We got our economy cards, Copper Scavenger, Money Grubbers, and Lucky Pennies. These are probably the 3 strongest copper cards that you can have together in the deck as of now. Copper Scavenger and Money Grubs have been the strongest for a while, obviously, and you know me, I don't usually go the economy route. If you've been following any of my content or videos, what have you, I just figured it was time to put a deck together. Did have it in there. I've always admitted that it's the strongest card. It's just something I don't typically worry about. And of course, we also tossed in Lucky Pennies with it. Just really strong, all 3 of these cards together. Copper Scavenger, spawn more copper piles, actually see them. Money Grubbers, increase the amount of copper you pick up with every pile that gets picked up, whether it's you or your teammate, up to 25 times, which is really, really nice. And of course, Lucky Pennies, whenever you or your team loots copper, you have a 35% chance you find 100% additional copper. Do be aware, Lucky Pennies works on the base pile of the copper. Does not work on piles, on the amount of the pile increased by Money Grubbers. Only its base copper. Still really strong though, because the amount of piles out there is increased due to Copper Scavenger, especially if other people have Copper Scavenger on as well. But regardless, that's the 3 we're going with. We're going to go and roll into the rest of the deck now. It's actually a pretty strong DPS deck. Shotgun, very versatile, pretty much use any shotgun in the game. In saying that, moving on to the next card, Ammo Mule. So, as I said, you can pretty much use any shotgun in the game. Hence, I went with Ammo Mule. In the off chance that you pick up a AA-12 or a Super 90, both pretty ammo hungry. Went with Ammo Mule. Thought about going with Ammo Belt, but I decided to go with that extra 25% ammo capacity, so get that 75% instead of 50%. Just for that little extra ammo, especially for something like the AA-12, it's just a little more hungry. Typically, when I make an AA-12 deck, I go with Ammo Mule and Ammo Belt, but I did have to do some trimming here. Cut some corners. So Ammo Mule, I went with a higher ammo capacity card. Works out pretty well. Alright, next, Quick Kill. Obviously, this is a no ADS deck. A lot of my future shotgun decks will be no ADS. It's kind of the way I've gone. I used to mess around with ADS shotgun decks, which there again, if that's something you like, there's nothing wrong with that. There is a playstyle for that. I've just recently adopted to a no ADS playstyle, and I really enjoy it. That allows me to use certain cards and cut certain cards out of a deck. For example, Quick Kill allows me to use a single accuracy card, because 50% accuracy tends to be enough, and especially with things like Steady Hand and Go Getter being a thing, or even a laser sight if you have to. Really need more accuracy, I guess. I strongly recommend trying to get a Spray and Pray, obviously. But, good card. obviously. If you had ADS in there, it would take you more than one card. Even it would take you at least 2 cards to get 50%. That's another card space you'd have to waste. In this regards, saving yourself a space. Next card, next we're going to toss 2 cards on the screen. Man Coupler and Scattergun Skills. The 2 strongest reload cards you can have in a shotgun deck. Typically, if I do a just pure DPS shotgun deck, especially if it's going to use something like Attack 14, I would just run Man Coupler for the 50% reload. But like I said, I wanted this deck to be able to use any shotgun it puts its hands on. So I went with Man Coupler and Scattergun. Scattergun obviously adds 40% reload with shotguns for a grand total of 90% reload. I wanted the 90% at least because I'm a big fan of the Super 90. It's my favorite shotgun in the game. But for the Super 90 to really sing and be devastating and effective, you need a higher reload speed. I tend, at the bare minimum, want 90%. It just helps out that much more, getting that higher DPS. So I went with Man Coupler and Scatterguns. Doesn't hurt nothing. If you get an AA-12, reloads fast. If you get Attack 14, it reloads faster. It's just really nice having both for the 90% base reload speed. And then we're going to roll into our first DPS card, which is also a reload card. I didn't put it with these 2 because it's not active all the time. And that would be Experimental Stimulants. A lot of the gadgets recently got nerfed and balanced and rechanged, but Stimulants didn't really get messed with. Actually, if I'm thinking about it, I don't think it got... Well, yeah, it got tweaked a little bit in this last update, but I actually feel like it got tweaked for the better. Before the October update, Experimental Stimulants created a cloud that grants 15% damage and 25% reload speed. And had a 25-second cooldown and a 10-second duration, I believe. Well, they adjusted that in the October patch. It now creates a cloud that grants 20% damage and 30% reload speed. But it only lasts for 7 seconds and has a 35-second cooldown. I find the 35-second and the 7-second duration thing not to be that big a deal. What I really, really like is the fact it gives you 20% damage and 30% reload. That's nice. With the 30% reload and the 90 it's already on it, that puts it at 120% reload whenever that goes active. So if you've got a Super 90, that thing will fly. Of course, Experimental Stimulants is not something you're going to use all the time in this deck. It's something you're going to save or say bosses, or if you know for a fact that your team can't drop a special before it gets within dangerously close range, say like a Tall Boy or a Bruiser, even a Reekers, you just know they're not going to be able to put it down before it gets in close and actually does some damage to the team. You can trigger that really quick, and you rest assured you're going to drop it really, really quickly. Very, very strong card. Probably one of my favorite gadgets in the game. It's also probably one of the most balanced ones. Probably why they didn't do a lot of changes to it in the update. Nobody really complains about that. The red cloud that it makes can be a little obscuring, and people do complain about that. So I'm a little surprised they didn't do any changes to that. But regardless, I do find it to be a very strong gadget and very balanced. It's not crazy broken. And it's very effective for shotguns, and I would say snipers, honestly. I think that's the 2 weapon types you see it the most with, especially shotguns. Very strong on shotguns, especially with the damage and the reload speed. You never go wrong with more reload speed on a shotgun. Alright, moving on to our next damage card. Glass Cannon. Obviously, that was going to be in there somewhere. It's a staple in any DPS deck. It is plus 25% damage, minus 30% health. In the current iteration of the game, in this update, which I'm sure will be fixed, and I'm sure it's a bug, it's currently actually only decreasing your health by flat 30 instead of 30%. So it's no reason not to use it right now until they fix it. It's actually a lot stronger now because it uses less, it takes less of your health away. Be aware that will get fixed in the future. I'm sure that's not a design decision. I'm sure they wouldn't do that. Glass Cannon is Glass Cannon. There's supposed to be risk reward for using that card, hence why it increases damage so much but decreases health so much. So just take note that will probably get fixed in the future. And if you decide to use this deck and you're just now using glass cannon, you're like, well, it doesn't take that much health away. Because I do believe it's currently bugged and it will probably be fixed. All right, enough about that. Moving on, Shredder. Another standard shotgun card. Shotgun card. Each bullet hit causes the target to take 1% increased damage for 3 seconds, stacks up to 15%. Only certain gun types can take advantage of this card. Shotguns, M249s, SMGs. Yeah, that's it. Fast firing guns puts a lot of bullets into a target in a very, very short amount of time. In this case, shotguns firing lots of bullets all at once. Very good for you, very good for your team, because when you get that 15, you stack up to that 15%, not only does it increase your damage for 15%, it increases all your teammates' damage by 15% to that target. Very, very strong for, say, bosses, because you will definitely get all pellets in the bosses very quickly. Good for your bigger specials too, like Reekers, your Reeker variants, and even Tall Boys and Bruisers. They're bigger targets, really easy to get all pellets in, even if you have an increased crosshair because say you have a blue spray and pray and no way to counter it. Still allows you to get pretty much all your pellets into a target. So take advantage of it. All right, next, Confident Killer. Another pretty standard damage card out there, especially with the way the game is right now. Of course, as you know, as you get further and further into an act, you get more and more and more specials. Especially if you're playing on No Hope. I mean, you get a lot of specials even from right out the gate. As you get further into the act, they throw even more at you. So you'll get those 15 kills that you need for Confident Killer to get up to that 15% damage very quickly. I mean, getting 15 mutation kills, you won't even be halfway through the mission before you get all 15. Especially since they added the cultists. There's just specials everywhere. You will get to that 15% very fast. I wouldn't even say this card really has a wind-up. Even a quarter into the mission, you probably already finished it. It's a very, very short wind-up to even get Confident Killer fully stacked up. Very, very strong card for any DPS deck nowadays. Alright, following it up, Shell Carrier. So, we don't have Ammo Mule and Ammo Belt. We only get Ammo Mule. So, figured, get Shell Carrier in there. A little bit more ammo capacity. 30% shotgun ammo capacity to be precise. Very, very good. But it also adds 10% damage with shotguns. 10% more damage. Can't go wrong with that. Very, very strong card for a shotgun deck. Usually comes down between two. They don't usually both make it into a deck. It's either Shell Carrier or Rolling Thunder. If I had to make a choice between the two, I usually go with Shell Carrier because I really have more ammo. Rolling Thunder, all it really does is counter a hyper-focused so that you can move around when you're shooting. I don't really ever care about that, so if I have to go down between the two of them, I usually go with Shell Carrier if I can't get them both. And it's very rare I can get them both in a shotgun deck. Alright, so moving on. Large caliber rounds. I used to sacrifice this card a lot in shotgun decks and stuff like that. I have learned through my experience in the game, this is actually a really, 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 really strong card. Especially in a shotgun deck. And it's not so much for the 7.5% bullet damage, it's at 200% bullet penetration. Bullet pen is very, very strong on a shotgun deck. Being able to cut down multiple rows of enemies, or being able to hit a special that's in a group of enemies with full damage because you got that bullet pen, is very, very good, especially if you've got a hawker back there or a stalker and you want to stop them before they pin someone or jump through the crowd and grab someone. That bullet penetration will help you take care of that. Very, very, very strong. So obviously you kind of want to avoid a all bite, which I have seen the popularity of that attachment go down quite a bit. Not the only people I ever see using them are snipers. Some. Because the bullet pin in this game is very important. Alright, following this up, Silver Bullets. Very strong card. I will sacrifice this card a lot in decks if I ever need space. But if you can get it in there, it's a good one to have in there. Especially for a shotgun. Don't get me wrong, the 10% bullet damage is nice. But that 15% effective bullet range is really, really good. especially if you haven't got your hands on a spray and pray yet. That way you can reach out and touch things a little better. Unfortunately, when you do get a spray and pray, the 15% effective bullet range is wasted on your deck, but you still get that 10% bullet damage, which you can't scoff at. It's a nice chunk of bullet damage. Just a pretty solid roundabout card. Nothing wrong with throwing it in a DPS deck if you got space for it. And finally, our last card, Hyper Focused. It's the only weak spot damage card we have in the deck, and it happens to be the strongest weak spot damage in the game. 50% weak spot damage. It does decrease your movement speed while shooting by 40%. I've said this before in other videos. It's not a big deal. Some people really hate that and they try to counter it, blah, blah, blah. But that negative does not have a cooldown or a lingering effect. As soon as you stop shooting, it immediately turns off. It's not like it lingers on you and you can't move around very quickly for a long time. As soon as you fire, it's off. Nothing to worry about there. I only went with a 50% weak spot because you've got so many pure damage cards and bullet damage cards stacked in there, and it's a no ADS deck, that weak spots aren't usually your concern. In the off chance that you can get access to a weak spot, be it a stunned tallboy and you can shoot weak spot, or be a reeker, or not reeker, but a wretch, or an exploder, or even a boss, hyper focused is enough for you to really put in tons of damage, because you've got so much bullet damage and damage stacked up in there. Especially when you got the experimental stimulant, you can kick that off to 20% damage instantly. Hyper focused is enough. You don't need more. Obviously, if you find other weak spot cards, Ridden Slayer, Killer Instinct, Reckless Strategy, Knowledge is Power, jump on them, grab them, just make you that much stronger. And folks, that is the Coppershot deck. Like I said in the beginning, it's not complicated. It's a really simple deck. Strong economy, lots of damage. It's really fun, really basic, very simple. Nothing out of the box about it. It's not one of my hybrid weird decks that I like to put out. Just something simple I wanted to give out to you guys. I hope you guys get some fun out of this deck. There again, let me know. Give me some feedback. And until next time, happy gaming, keep drinking that Kool-Aid, and peace.